Hallo, oh yeah. Ja, hallo, herzlich willkommen. Vielen Dank für die Geduld. Wir mussten ja jetzt gerade noch den Beamer anbekommen. Ich verliere ganz kurz 3 Worte darüber, dass ich Maria Schleiner einführen werde und dann auch gleichzeitig zu unserem Workshop heute. Wir freuen uns sehr, dass das hier klappen konnte. Wir dürfen freundlicherweise im Open Space wir dürfen hier im den Open Space nutzen und danken vor allem auch Annika Plank und Julia Hagenberg dafür, dass sie uns dabei helfen konnten, das hier zu machen, weil wir das Community Arts Projekt jetzt Shasti und ich seit einem Jahr als künstlerisch-wissenschaftliche Mitarbeiterin machen unter der Leitung von Professor Maria Schleiner und Frau Dr. Professor Swantje Lichtenstein, die dieses Projekt schon seit einigen Jahren angetrieben haben. Dazu gibt es wahrscheinlich gleich noch mehr von deiner Seite. Und wir nutzen den Tag heute als Auftaktveranstaltung für unsere Recherche und uns geht es besonders auch um wie Kunst heute im Zusammenschluss möglichst diverser Gruppen genossen werden kann und dafür ist der Open Space ein ganz besonderer Ort, um das hier zu testen. Und wir machen eine hybride Veranstaltung, das ist auch ganz spannend. Also es gibt SeminarteilnehmerInnen, die hier dabei sind und gleichzeitig Leute, die nicht in Deutschland sind, die hier teilnehmen können. Und dafür möchte ich darauf hinweisen, dass die Veranstaltung in Englisch vor allem sein wird und teilweise auch in Spanisch. Und es gibt Untertitel in den Online-Streams und wir hoffen, dass ihr euch sehr stark beteiligt. Dann können wir nämlich auch solche Verständnisfragen im Verlauf einfach hier möglichst zusammen klären. Ja, das wollte ich nur sagen und ich gebe das Wort an dich weiter. Dankeschön.
Danke auch. Wir wollten auch gerne noch mal Hannes Woidig vorstellen, der heute hier diese Veranstaltung fotografiert. Und insofern, ihr wisst dann, warum hier jemand noch unterwegs ist. Okay.
Falls jemand nicht auf dem Bild sein möchte, einfach die Hand heben.
Gut, ich habe mir ein paar Notizen gemacht, damit ich doch einigermaßen konzentriert hier Sie und euch begrüßen kann. Zu der heutigen Auftaktveranstaltung von Who Cares About Paradise ist nicht zu lang, 5 Minuten, denke ich mal. Es handelt sich um das Community Arts Projekt, sogenanntes ComArts Projekt, ein Forschungsprojekt der Hochschule Düsseldorf von Professorin Doktorin Swantje Lichtenstein und mir zusammen gegründet, um die Möglichkeiten gemeinschaftlich orientierter künstlerischer Arbeit, vor allem auch durch die Anwendung von Praktiken ästhetischen Handelns, zu erforschen. Insbesondere wollen wir in diesem Forschungsprojekt durch die Organisation von Veranstaltungen wie dieser und dem Aufbau von Netzwerken die Bedeutung von Community Arts in dem deutschsprachigen Raum anwendungsorientiert untersuchen und darstellen. Ganz froh sind wir, dass wir unsere heutige Auftaktveranstaltung hier im Open Space des K20 durchführen können. Konzeption und Umsetzung des Open Space passen in idealer Weise zu den Ideen des Community Arts Projekts, sodass Swantje Lichtenstein und Julia Hagenbeck und Frau Plank frühzeitig eine Zusammenarbeit vereinbart hatten. Leider ist meine Kollegin erkrankt, sodass wir ganz glücklich sind, dass Waltraud Blischke, Dozentin und Lehrbeauftragte an der Robert-Schumann-Hochschule und eben bei uns gestern, heute, hoffe ich auch noch, und morgen und überhaupt in den nächsten Tagen hier mit Studierenden gemeinsam arbeitet unter dem Titel Digital Arts Community Open House. Auch die beiden Mitarbeiterinnen Maria Wildeis und Shastika Andara arbeiten mit Studierenden hier vor, während und nach dieser Veranstaltung. Die Idee und Konzeption zu dem ComArts Projekt ist aus der langjährigen Arbeit von Swantje Lichtenstein und mir mit Studierenden vor allen Dingen des Bachelorstudiengangs Soziale Arbeit, Sozialpädagogik und des Masterstudiengangs Kulturästhetik Medien am Fachbereich Sozial- und Kulturwissenschaften entstanden. Unterstützt durch Gastvorträge, Lehrbeauftragte wie heute Waltraud, aber auch durch dauerhaft angelegte Projekte wie Urban Gardening und das Rolling Ice Collective, das Swantje Lichtenstein ins Leben gerufen hat, versuchen wir gemeinsam mit Studierenden durch den Einsatz von künstlerischen Verfahren Konzepte ästhetischen Handelns in unterschiedlichen Communities zu erproben. Ausgehend von uns selbst untersuchen wir für uns selbst und mit anderen, wie zugleich situativ und orientiert an den Bedürfnissen, inklusives, diversitätssensibles und gegebenenfalls auch aktivistisches Handeln für kleine, sich bildende, sich vielleicht auch erst im Tun als solche erkennende Communities möglich zu sein scheinen. Als gemeinsam gemütlich arbeiten hat eine Teilnehmerin einer Studierenden das von ihr initiierte Nähprojekt beschrieben, das übrigens kürzlich digital stattfand und dennoch funktionierte. Bestimmt ist es gerade jetzt sehr notwendig, zur gleichen Zeit, im gleichen Raum, digital und analog, gemeinschaftlich etwas zu tun. In unserem Webkunstprojekt ComArts.net, das wir vor allem Corona geschuldet gestartet haben, werden die Überlegungen, Beiträge und Veranstaltungen dokumentiert als ein prozessbegleitendes, sich veränderndes, langsames, durchaus auch künstlerisches Vorgehen angelegt. Ich danke vor allen Dingen meiner Kollegin, Professorin Doktorin Swantje Lichtenstein, für unsere sehr kleine Community und für die wirklich vielen Erörterungen von Konzeptionen und Versuchen in den letzten 10 Jahren, durch die dieses ComArts-Projekt entstanden ist. Und ich bedanke mich bei den studentischen, wissenschaftlichen und freien Mitarbeiterinnen, die wesentlich zur Schärfung unserer Ideen für das ComArts-Projekt und der Umsetzung beigetragen haben. Ganz besonders möchte ich mich aber heute bedanken bei den beiden künstlerisch-wissenschaftlichen Mitarbeiterinnen, Shastika Andara und Maria Wildeis, die durch ihre Fähigkeiten und Kenntnisse und auch unter Einbezug ihrer jeweiligen Communities das ComArts-Projekt mit viel Courage, Liebe und Einsatz begleiten und managen und zum Beispiel heute möglich machen. Ich danke dem eingeladenen Künstlerkollektiv Apotheke Lab und den anderen Kollektiven und freue mich sehr auf den heutigen Nachmittag. Hinweisen möchte ich noch darauf, dass wir eine Unterstützung vom Ministerium im Rahmen des Diversitätsfonds erhalten haben, durch die diese Veranstaltung möglich ist. Und nochmals meinen herzlichen Dank an das K20, dass unsere Auftaktveranstaltung hier in einem so tollen Rahmen mitten in der Düsseldorfer Altstadt und Innenstadt stattfinden kann. Also vielen Dank und viel Spaß.
I think the audio is coming from my laptop, not from the... Yeah. Necesitamos solo un momento. No, the adapter,
okay.
because the other one didn't stream the video.
All right.
In settings.
Will be a second, then it's on.
Okay. Okay, my name is Paula Pedraza. I work in a small project called Apotheke Lab, which started in Wuppertal and is moving between Düsseldorf and Wuppertal. I work basically with a small diaspora coming from Latin America specifically, and with my friends in creating projects around care. For our first prototype project, we worked with hair care, and also with non-westernized practices around hair care. For today, we invited 3 artists and collectives that work in this reflection and analysis in a way in their own local practices as well as artistic practices on what they consider care is for them regarding hairs. Our first collective is called Lo Llevamos Rizo. They are in La Habana, Cuba. They speak Spanish, so the dynamic now would be that they will be talking us about the project and also make a small intervention here in the room where we can all participate. And I will be summarizing parts of what they do, what they say, sorry, in English from the Spanish language, even though we have these captions, as you see in there. So that's like kind of a side tool that is not perfect because it's a Google Meets tool, but it's maybe supportive regarding what they will explain us. Also, in case you have questions or an intervention, please don't hesitate to intervene. We have another microphone. And I thank you for being here today. So we are gonna begin with Lo Llevamos Rizo. And chicas, creo que pueden abrir el micrófono.
Hola, buenas tardes por allá. Somos Juliet y Agnia del proyecto Le Damos Rizo. Estamos en La Habana, Cuba. Paula, queríamos agradecerte especialmente por la invitación una vez más y muy contenta de poder estar compartiendo aquí con un público que se encuentra fuera de Cuba para dar a conocer nuestro proyecto y la labor que ya venimos desarrollando por 5 años, por más de 5 años ya. Paula, ¿están viendo la pantalla? Ok. ¿Quieres unos segundos para traducir lo que dijo o continúo?
So they present themselves. They are happy to be here. They are Juliet and Annalise, and that's basically what they said.
Ok. Bueno, a ver, queríamos comenzar con una pequeña presentación sobre lo que es el proyecto Lo Llevamos Rizo y todo lo que hemos realizado desde el año 2015, que fue su creación. Queríamos contarle un poco sobre la historia, sobre su surgimiento, el objetivo con el que se creó, el desarrollo y la evolución que ha tenido el proyecto hasta este momento, porque comenzó siendo una cosa y fue, digamos que creciendo y ahora mismo se ha convertido en algo que si bien mantiene su objetivo inicial, ha, digamos que repensado su concepto inicial.
The project was made from the year 2015. They will present us, like the microphone. Yeah, sorry. So this part is regarding like the background. So the project began in 2015, and they will present us kind of the history of the project, how it began, where, and will give us this information.
Okay. Julie, ven la pestaña arriba. Ok. Bueno, a ver, queríamos comenzar con un resumen que nos contextualiza un poco sobre la situación social, política, cultural en que nace nuestro proyecto. Y queríamos a modo de contexto comentarles acerca de la imposición colonialista y hegemónica que ha planteado la cultura durante siglos y que nos ha reflejado y enseñado que el cabello afro es feo, duro y malo, y que esto en Cuba, como en otros lugares del mundo, ha sido un concepto que se ha naturalizado totalmente, sobre todo en las mujeres y las niñas desde que nacen. Paula, ¿me traduces?
Yeah. I don't know why it's not working. It's like a technical. Yeah, but the thing is like here, there is like Spanish captions, and then you translate the Spanish captions. to English, but it's not happening as usual, so I don't know what to do. No, no, because yeah, it won't translate it because we are not. Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. Like, even though it's like that, it's not doing it. Yeah, but because I'm talking English now. Pero si empiezo a hablar español, it's like going somewhere. If I start speaking Spanish, it will go somewhere. That's what I meant. I will try my best, okay? Because we have this technical issue here that I am trying to cope with. I don't know why. So what they were explaining, sorry, Annalise, we are going back. We just have this, tenemos solo este momento técnico que ha sido un poco difícil. So, what the introduction was is like the project began because of these cultural and hegemonic imposition from colonial structures that happen in Cuba as in other countries regarding the black hairs and how it's connotated as something that is ugly or bad somehow or difficult to treat. So that was the main question that was brought to the project, and it's like a concept that is neutralized by society and even by standards of professionalization, for example, where women have to straighten their hairs, black women, to be welcome in a professional environment. So that is the aim or the main reason why they began this project. Annalise, puedes continuar.
Okay. Pues queríamos comentarle que lo llamamos Rizo como surgió en el año 2015 como parte de la obra artística de una artista visual cubana, Susana Pilar de la Ante Matienzo. Surgió en el marco de la Bienal de La Habana como un concurso de cabello afro natural, que fue el primero de su tipo en Cuba. Nunca antes había hecho un concurso de belleza dedicado única y exclusivamente al cabello afro natural. Y este concurso constituyó la obra performática, el performance de Susana en la Bienal de La Habana. Susana creó, lo llevamos Rizo, pensando en primer lugar en sus experiencias personales, digamos que teniendo en cuenta todo lo que había vivido desde pequeña en una sociedad que te impone que por naturaleza el cabello liso es hermoso y es lindo y es bien aceptado, el cabello afro y rizado al contrario.
Is it working? Yeah. So the project, the first intervention they did in 2015 was like a competition kind of situation or like a beauty contest with an artist called Susana Matieso, Del Pilar Matieso, I think it's the complete name. I don't remember exactly right now. Where this contest was basically directed to enhance and visualize black hairs. It was not a body or I don't know, fashion contest, but was more about looking at how people can style their hairs, black hairs. ¿Puedes continuar?
Ok, el primer objetivo de ella con este concurso fue crear un espacio que no existía anteriormente para positivizar el cabello afro natural dentro del contexto cultural cubano, donde el público se identificara con sus raíces a partir de su cuerpo, en especial a partir de su cabello, y viviera entonces la experiencia de premiar algo que hasta ahora había sido discriminado y había sido prácticamente no tolerados en la sociedad cubana.
So the main objective, as I said, was to bring like a positive gaze towards black hair, and also to bring like a sort of identity issue, like a way people can, an image where people of society in La Habana could relate to, like even also children. So an image of beauty where they can see themselves in a way and like bring this positive connotation to black hairs and kind of oppose, of course, this discrimination that is result of this image created by hegemonic cultural bias regarding wild black hairs.
Ok. Entonces, durante esta primera edición del concurso, que solamente duró 3 días, el concurso se realizó, o sea, la gala de premiación se realizó el último día y los 2 días ese día estuvo antecedido por 2 días donde se realizaron diversas acciones con carácter formativo, como talleres, conferencias, charlas, incluso hubo una pasarela también de diseño de moda enfocada sobre todo en vestuarios que estaban inspirados en diseños africanos con telas también con motivos africanos. El objetivo fue construir los cánones de belleza establecidos y desde la creatividad proponer una civilización orgánica de su presencia en el imaginario social cubano. Participaron solamente mujeres y niñas, esta vez no estuvieron incluidos hombres y niños. En total, incluimos 100 concursantes, desfilaron 76 en la categoría de afro suelto y trenzado durante la gala de premiación. Y en total podemos decir que hubo el día de la gala de premiación en el público aproximadamente un total de 100 personas. Y aquí pueden ver algunas imágenes de esa primera edición del concurso.
So I was wrong in some part regarding the costumes, because they also work with African motifs and African textiles to create each kind of garment for the women who were in the catwalk. They had like 3 categories. So there was like Afro category, there was like Afro style category, there was like just open hairs, like without specific styling, and then there were braids, like specific braids. There was around 100 women between children and like just women. And here are some pictures of what the first event was about.
Luego, la segunda edición se desarrolló en el año 2019, 4 años después, también en el marco de la Bienal de La Habana, pero en esta ocasión fue muchísimo más larga en el tiempo. Duró prácticamente 3 meses, de finales de febrero hasta inicios de mayo. Y aquí estuvimos en ese periodo que precedió al día de la gala final de premiación, una actividad por cada semana. Ahí estuvimos realizando también conferencias, invitamos incluso a estudiosos de temáticas, de la temática de la racialidad y la negritud en Cuba, dictamos talleres de peinados, de turbantes, damos diferentes audiovisuales sobre la temática de la representatividad, hicimos performance, pasarelas también de moda, de diseño de vestuario, visitas comunitarias, unas comunidades vulnerabilizadas de La Habana. Y participaron, y como diferencia de la primera edición del concurso, estuvieron presentes, además de mujeres y niñas, niños y hombres, y se defendieron las 3 modalidades, el afro suelto, el trenzado y los dreadlocks, porque uno de los objetivos del concurso era precisamente establecer otorgarle el mismo valor estético a estas tres modalidades de peinado. En total podemos decir que se inscribieron unas 200 personas para participar en el concurso, y en la gala final que realizamos en el Malecón Habanero, un lugar muy concurrido y muy conocido aquí en La Habana, estuvieron en el público alrededor de 600 personas. O sea, como podemos ver, en cuanto a cantidad, la segunda edición fue un poco más amplia, y también en cuanto a reconocimiento, tuvo mucho más importancia que la primera edición.
So there was a second, then after this, there was like a second initiative in 2019. I forgot to say that from first event in 2015, it was on the frame of the Biennale from the Havana, and the second time as well. But the first time it was long 3 days, and this time was really different. Were 3 months of like intense work where they gave workshops. They prepare everyone inside so like there were this structure where they had these workshops for braids, for dreads, for like all these ways of styling hairs, to prepare people from La Habana. They worked with different kinds of communities from the city. And this time they included also male hairs from children as well and from men. And they were also part of the contest. And this time at the end they showed 200 different styles for the catwalk of the presentation, the intervention they did in the Havana Biennale, and it happened in a very iconic place in Cuba, which is called Malecón Habanero, and it's just like a big space where also the Biennale happens, and these, I believe, are some pictures.
Okay.
¿Puedo
continuar? Ok. Entonces, después de esta segunda edición en el año 2019, Susana Pilar, la creadora del concurso inicialmente, nos comenta que le interesaba dejar Lo Llevamos Rizo como concurso en manos del equipo que había estado trabajando con ella hasta ese momento. Y pues nosotras aceptamos, con tremenda felicidad, por supuesto, pero la condición que le pusimos a ella fue que queríamos convertir Lo Llevamos Rizo más allá de un concurso. Queríamos convertirlo en un proyecto sociocultural que tuviera como objetivo principal lograr un impacto en las comunidades y en la sociedad cubana. Y precisamente eso es lo que hemos estado realizando a partir del 2019. Ya prácticamente vamos a hacer 3 años que estamos constituidos como proyecto sociocultural. Hemos podido realizar numerosas actividades, desde actividades comunitarias, como charlas, conferencias. Hemos podido intercambiar con la materia de otros países que han podido venir aquí a la influencia de decirle Pelo Bueno de Colombia, que nos impartió una charla a toda nuestra comunidad, que fue muy útil también por todos acá. También estuvimos...
I'm going to interrupt you, and I'm going to translate this. So after this last event in 2019, because this was initiative from Susana Pilar de Matieso, who was the Cuban artist who like gathered all of this community and this group of women who were giving the workshops, wanted like to step out of the project, but like they or like wanted to give them like the direction of this project so that they can continue doing it every year, but they decided to make it or transform it in a cultural initiative, social cultural initiative, where they will provide this kind of content to people constantly. And yeah. ¿Sí? ¿Sí? ¿Estamos bien? Okay.
Ok, continúo.
Sí, por favor.
También quería comentarles que tuvimos también una invitada que actualmente vive allá en Alemania, pero que es de origen cubano, que tiene un blog que se llama Negra Cubana Tenía que Ser. Ella se llama Sandra Álvarez, no sé si alguno de ustedes la conoce, que es una de las voces más reconocidas y notadas en el contexto cubano sobre la negritud y la racialidad en Cuba y todos los estudios concernientes. Pues nada, a partir de este momento intentamos, a ver, déjame continuar, pues si no me voy de acá. Ok, a la hora de constituir los proyectos, hicimos un estudio que arrojaron determinadas problemáticas fundamentales que eran a partir de las cuales íbamos a trabajar. Y que, Paula, yo quisiera que a medida que vayas leyendo cada una de las problemáticas, tú me vayas traduciendo una a una. ¿Puede ser?
Sí, voy a traducir esto que me dijiste de Sandra Álvarez y ya te traduzco una por una.
Okay.
Then they also started like working in the concepts around this project, and they started working with German Cuban artist. Her name is Sandra Alvarez, and she writes about like Black studies and yeah, like I don't know, this word is really complicated, but like I would say Black studies generally. And so like to kind of open up this question in a more rich way, and in a way that is not only about doing these workshops without any focus or aim, but like have some concepts behind it. And they start to study and try to identify the fundamental problems, the main problems in Cuban society that they wanted to target. So that's why they started inviting other people who have more knowledge in social sciences and social work into the project, as Sandra Álvarez. Puedes continuar.
Ok. Bueno, las problemáticas son la tendencia de las mujeres y las niñas cubanas a exponer el cabello afronatural a tratamientos químicos con el inconsciente fin de ser socialmente mejor aceptadas.
So the first problematic that they target is that women and children started to expose natural afro hairs to chemical processes in a way to unconsciously feel socially accepted. So that was the first problematic they saw, and they wanted to work on these chemical procedures that children and women were exposing their hairs.
Okay. El segundo, el desconocimiento y la escasez en la información acerca del cuidado, la belleza y el entendimiento del cabello afro. Y esto quizás pueda parecer prácticamente increíble para personas que no residen en Cuba, que no son cubanos, pero sucede que apenas hace 3 años que en Cuba ha habido una apertura a la internet. Antes de 2018, los problemas de conectividad en Cuba eran realmente importantes y el acceso a internet era muy, muy limitado. Entonces toda esta información hoy abunda tanto y que hay de muy buena calidad en la internet. Hace 3 años para nosotros era impensable acceder a ella.
So the second was the lack of information about how to take care of black hairs, basically, of Afro hairs. And she pointed out problematic, social and political problematic in Cuba, and is the fact that 3 years ago, only in 2018, Cuba started to provide access to internet for locals. Like, it was really, really hard for people to get connected to internet, basically. And to gather this information, which they find is a big source of information. Also, as Cuba is a colony, or was a colony many centuries ago, like these links or this connection to their former African diasporas are missing. So the information by default culturally is also very hard to find, and in a way it's more like this oral speech pass from one to another people, and so that's what they were pointing out. The lack of information was a second big problem, at least for the general public. Yeah. Puedes continuar.
Tercero, los riesgos de salud y las reacciones adversas a las que son sometidas estas mujeres y niñas al tratar su cabello con estos productos químicos. O sea, riesgos de salud.
Basically, health issues regarding the exposition to chemical procedures, and their second effects, like secondary effects. That's the name for that. Yeah.
Cuarto, la baja autoestima que poseen las mujeres y las niñas debido a que su cabello natural no forma parte de ese canon de belleza establecido y que privilegia el cabello liso.
So also psychosocial consequence is the lack of self-esteem, as like they cannot find like image where to match themselves in Occidental, Western, standards of hair's beauty, as their hairs are not straight, basically. So that's a social psychological effect that they also like found as a problem.
La escasa representatividad de la gente negra en puestos de trabajo visibilizados, como por ejemplo son los medios de comunicación, las altas esferas gubernamentales, el sector empresarial e institucional.
So the lack of these images, like these representative images, even in like local TV, in the access of the information they also had for many years in magazines and so on. Like there is lack of representation of black and diaspora of black people in Cuba, in this example specifically. So and also like in the corporations and institutions and government images, like public images, there is this lack of presence of black community.
Y la falta de autorreconocimiento y autovaloración de las personas negras y mestizas, en especial de las mujeres y las niñas, como personas negras orgullosas de sus raíces, de sus antecesores, de su historia negra y su identidad. Lo que da paso al colorismo. Aquí en Cuba, la gente negra no quería ser negra. La gente negra quería ser mulatica clarita, quería ser mulata blanconaza, quería ser india, quería ser con carmelita, color cartucho, pero era muy difícil que una persona negra se concibiera y se llamara y se reconociera como una mujer negra, como una niña negra. Y te hablaba del colorismo, precisamente un concepto bueno que se ha hecho ya muy internacional, y que creo que en Cuba, por el producto del mestizaje que tenemos, ¿no? Mestizaje cultural y también mestizaje racial, hay, digamos, que muchos colores. Y al haber tantas de diversidad de colores, es muy fácil entonces que nos reconozcamos con algunos de esos colores que lo que hacen simplemente es minimizar el color negro en toda su plenitud.
So, regarding these psychosocial consequences, there is also the lack of self-recognition as part of even like African diaspora, as like there is this hegemonic culture which is selling them that even the colors in between, because of the mestizaje, like the mix of different people regarding the colonization. It's very problematic because local people like they don't want to be named as black, or they will use. She was using many names which are a bit difficult to translate because I don't know the words for like interracial names, I would say, and this colorism, it would be the translation of that word. So like the lack of history, of self-information, of like memory in a way, it's also big problematic, a big big problem for them as well, as not having these stories, not having like also these maybe pride of feeling part of African diaspora. So maybe, that's another problem, like this kind of confusion, historical and memory lack in a way.
Ok. Bueno, ya prácticamente para finalizar, queríamos comentarles sobre los resultados que hemos podido obtener en estos años de trabajo. Y en primer lugar queríamos decirle que nosotros hemos notado un fuerte impacto social ahora mismo en prácticamente todas las provincias de Cuba, pero sobre todo en La Habana ha habido una notable ola de jóvenes iniciativas, proyectos, emprendimientos, como por ejemplo son los salones de belleza especializados en cabello afro o las tiendas que comercializan artículos que representan la afroestética de la identidad afro. También se hace muy notable cuando caminas por las calles de La Habana la fuerte presencia de personas negras y mestizas con su cabello ya natural, ya sea afro, ya sea rizado. Actualmente, nosotros uno de los sueños que teníamos con Lo Llevamos Rizo como proyecto cultural era que en algún momento nos volviéramos un proyecto autosostenible financieramente. No contamos con la primera línea comercial. ¿Me escuchas bien?
Sí, te estoy escuchando bien. Te voy a interrumpir para traducir estos dos pedazos, ¿sí? O estos tres pedazos. So the results after that, or what they started to use as strategies to target the problematics that we already mentioned before, was first that first was gathering also people who were young, and interested into work in these solutions for Afro hairs. So they start supporting startups or small businesses that have a place to be in Cuba, in La Habana. So that was one of the first targets, maybe to teach and to have also these local businesses who could provide people with these products so they could take care of their hairs. Also, as a project in a way to start to be self-sustainable in a financial matter, so that this knowledge that they have in a way could sustain the collective that they created, basically. Puedes continuar.
Para lograr esta autosostenibilidad financiera, Paula, hemos creado nuestra primera línea de comercial, que es donde estamos comercializando productos naturales para el cabello, productos, además de productos, accesorios y utensilios para el cuidado y el manejo del cabello. Esto en nuestro catálogo lo pueden consultar si hay alguien interesado que puede ver lo que estamos haciendo en WhatsApp. De todas maneras, yo más abajo les pongo las redes por donde estamos y nos pueden encontrar. También como resultado estamos inmersas en crear nuestro centro de experiencia, lo llamamos Rizo, dedicado exclusivamente al cabello rizado y afronatural, que sería primero su tipo en Cuba. Esto es una obra que está, digamos, en proceso ahora mismo, y que este centro tendrá 3 áreas fundamentales: un área de información, donde las personas se pueden acercar con ansias de aprender, y nosotros con ansias de enseñarles conocimiento que tenemos a esas personas, y donde las personas puedan también investigar e indagar un poco acerca de su historia negra, acerca de su identidad afro. Una segunda área dedicada a los servicios y una tercera dedicada a las ventas de productos como tal. Como resultado también tenemos que hemos comenzado en medio de la pandemia, aunque tuvimos que interrumpirla por el contexto pandémico, una gira por los barrios, las comunidades de La Habana, dedicada a las niñas, principalmente a las niñas negras y mestizas, con talleres dedicados al cuidado del cabello afro. Y también, por último, hemos logrado en este corto periodo de tiempo una importante participación en eventos del país, dentro y fuera de La Habana, relacionados con la temática del cuidado del cabello, y no solo del cabello, sino también de la racialidad y de la entidad.
Fab, apaga la cámara, porfa. So I'm going to translate this last part. So these are 2 processes that are in process of construction. So the first is like create a experience center for Lo Llevamos Rizo that has 3 different focus. So one is the information area, the other is the services area, and the last one is like this sell, like market area, let's say. So they will have these product lines for black hairs, local, from Cuban products, and for the locals. The second process that they noticed was that like this is issue for grown-up women already, but that was created by childhood, basically, because of the lack of information. So they have these workshops where they visit children, girls, in the periphery of La Habana, basically in like in some neighborhoods where there is like difficult situations regarding connection to internet or even going to school, or like very harsh economical situations, to provide with all of these products, this knowledge, and also this history regarding diaspora in Cuba to children, so they have this information of where they come from, why, how they can see themselves also when going to school or meeting other children who may not have afro hairs. That's like the second strategy, basically. Yeah. So for now, since 2019, and also they go to homes of these girls. That started to be kind of the strategy as the COVID came. So they go and do basically kind of personalized visits to the families and to the children, where they give this information to them. And yeah, podemos continuar.
Yeah. Bueno, nada, nos pueden encontrar en todas estas redes. Estamos en Facebook, ahí tenemos una fanpage y un grupo. Estamos en Telegram, donde aparecemos como lo llamamos Rizo Radio. Tenemos un podcast que ya lanzamos la primera temporada en octubre del año pasado. En octubre de 2020 lanzamos nuestra primera temporada. Pues, son una serie de entrevistas, de 11 entrevistas a diferentes artistas visuales, músicos, emprendedores negros y negras de aquí de Cuba, que llevan su cabello natural y que dentro de su obra tienen también un fuerte vínculo con la historia negra y con la identidad afro. Lo pueden escuchar en todas las plataformas de podcast internacionales. Y como lo comentaba ahorita, tenemos el WhatsApp Business, que es donde tenemos ahí establecido nuestro catálogo de productos naturales. Muchas gracias.
Gracias. So they just, basically told us that they have many channels how we can communicate with them. They have a channel in WhatsApp, in Telegram. They have a podcast that they began last year in October. I personally am part of the Telegram channel, so they also have like these huge conversations. They invite local people to play music. They invite like lectures to speak about Black history on Cuba and so on. So like maybe it's really interesting for you. Annalise? Acabamos.
Sí, podemos pasar ahora, Paula, a la parte ya más, 20 minuticos de la parte del cuidado del cabello, y al final si tienen alguna pregunta, entonces se la respondemos. ¿Te parece bien?
Sí.
Okay.
So now we have 20 minutes just to join the dynamic and the tips for the hair care that they want to give us. And then we can also ask some questions or make some comments to them if you have. I will translate them. Pueden comenzar.
Buenas tardes reiteradas para toda la audiencia. Aunque no lo podemos ver a todos, estamos felices de poder compartir con ustedes nuestros conocimientos acerca del cuidado del cabello afronatural. Cuando hablamos del cuidado del cabello, tenemos que pensar en 3 factores fundamentales. El primero, ¿qué sé acerca de mi cabello? ¿Qué conozco acerca de mi cabello? Y aquí hablo acerca de las texturas, acerca de la diferencia que existe entre un cabello rizado y un cabello liso, para partir de ahí, entonces, cómo debo cuidarlo. ¿Puedes ir traduciendo, Paula?
So she's very happy to be here. Welcome. She cannot see you, but she's happy to be here. Like we are gonna talk about the differences on how the straight hairs and the curly hairs behave. Ya. Puedes continuar.
Cuando hablamos de los diferentes tipos de cabello, hay que reconocer que se estableció una tipología o una manera de poder diferenciarlo a partir de la estructura del mismo. Que vamos de los cabellos muy lisos hasta los cabellos muy rizados, que es la textura en la que yo entro. No sé si podrán verlo desde ahí.
So, there is like a huge range, as we see, from super straight hairs to really, really curls, like very tiny curls. ¿Puedes continuar?
Entender que no todos los cabellos se deben de cuidar y tratar de la misma manera. No es igual comenzar a cuidar un cabello liso que cuidar un cabello rizado. Los cabellos rizados llevan un cuidado un poco más especial, desde los productos que son bajos en tratamientos químicos o productos que son bajos en procedimientos que contengan desde silicona, desde sulfatos, desde derivados del petróleo, que son aquellos productos que a la larga van dañando el cabello.
So there is different ways, of course, to take care of different ways hairs behave and are. And she's also talking about that there is knowledge that products that come from oil, I think that's a name, like petróleo. Yeah, like silicone is one, or sulfates. They provide some shine at first. They at the long term will damage everyone's hairs. Doesn't matter how the hairs are. Puedes continuar.
Ok. Entonces, conociendo cómo es mi cabello, puedo saber a partir de ahí cuáles son las necesidades que tengo para comenzar a cuidarlo. Por ejemplo, voy a hablar sobre mi cabello en específico para, por ejemplo, compararlo con el tuyo, Paula. Cuando vamos a cuidar un cabello como el mío, que es un cabello que va de la textura 3, que es más rizado en la parte de abajo, hasta la textura más afro, que es lo que tengo en la parte de arriba de mi cabello, yo debo tener en cuenta qué productos me favorecen.
So, she's gonna make a comparison between how hairs are and how my hairs are. So just to explain the different things we have to have on mind when taking care of different structure of the hair. So she, for example, have these small curls that she showed us, but the top ones, they behave very different. So she has like also different ways to take care of the different sections of her hairs. Yeah. Puedes continuar.
De los productos naturales que podemos usar, entran los aceites naturales que no solamente permiten hidratar la hebra, sino también mantener la humedad por más tiempo, ya que los cabellos rizados tienden a perder toda la humedad y es lo que provoca desde la resequedad hasta el frizz. Por tanto, para su cuidado debemos introducir dentro de la rutina de cuidado del cabello aceites naturales.
So specifically also for very curly hairs, they need a lot of oil basically, because that's the way the hairs absorb humidity or moist from the environment. And if it isn't like that, or if we don't do it that way, they will be very frizzy and also very dry, and they will used to just break because of the lack of oil. ¿Puedes continuar?
Si yo fuera a escoger un aceite específico para el cuidado de mi cabello en comparación al cuidado del cabello de Paula, por ejemplo, en el caso mío, utilizar aceites que fueran desde lo hidratante hasta lo nutritivo. Y en el caso de Paula, escogería aceites que fueran nutritivos para cuidar su hebra. Sin embargo, yo tengo que utilizar dos tipos de aceites. Uno que mantenga la hidratación y otro que permita darme nutrición. Ya que al tener, por ejemplo, un cabello rizado y que a la vez tenga porosidad baja, todos los nutrientes que debe guardar la hebra del cabello se pierden.
So she said there is two types of oils. So there is ones which are more hydrating. There are others that are more about nutrition of the hairs. So for her hairs, she needs to keep the hydration and the nutrition, both types of oils together. But for example, for a bit less curled hairs like mine, or like more straightened hairs, more curved hairs, nutrition hairs are better, because what the hairs tends to do is just to bring the oil to the tips of my hairs. So the idea is that I don't lose nutrition instead of targeting the hydration. Yeah, that's what she's explaining us. Podemos continuar.
Otro de los productos que yo podría incluir dentro de mi rutina de cuidado son los champús, en este caso, que la opción principal que tiene el champú es la de limpiar todo el sebo natural que se adhiere al cuero cabelludo y al folículo piloso, disculpa la palabra técnica, quiere decir a la raíz del cabello, donde el nacimiento del cabello como tal. Entonces utilizamos champús bajos en sulfatos, quiere decir que no contengan sal, y a la vez champús que tengan dentro de sus productos, dentro de sus ingredientes, productos humectantes y productos hidratantes.
So the single function of shampoos is basically clean the roots of the hairs, and therefore it's recommended not to use sulfates, that is basically shampoos that contain salt, but instead like products or ingredients that will target this same hydration for coral, very cool hairs. So, ¿puedes continuar?
Entonces, hablamos de aceite, hablamos de champú. ¿Qué producto suavizante o acondicionador puede utilizar para mantener el cabello lo más hidratado, lo más protegido posible? Bueno, aquí escojo productos ricos en sustancias que contengan desde omega 3 hasta sustancias que permitan suavizar la hebra. Por ejemplo, podemos utilizar las mantecas, que son las más ricas en nutrientes que le aportan al cabello desde elasticidad, suavidad, combate el frizz, como por ejemplo la manteca de karité, la manteca de mango, los tratamientos ricos en aceite de jojoba, los aceites ricos en aceite de argán.
So these products, these oils that maintain the hairs hydrated are the butter, of karité, the butter of mango, the oil of jojoba. ¿Qué otro aceite dijiste? Se me olvidó uno, creo.
Coco.
Dime.
Coconut. Coco.
Coco, the coconut oil, because they are rich on omega 3. Yeah. Sí.
Luego de seleccionar un producto o un tratamiento, que son los productos que acondicionan y suavizan, debo entonces elegir con qué productos voy a realizar el acabado o la estilización del cabello. Cuando vamos a tratar un cabello afro o rizado natural, llevo 3 procesos diferentes. Primero, la limpieza a profundidad, que se hace con champú o productos alternativos al champú. Segundo, un tratamiento que son los que permiten agregar los nutritivos y acondicionar o suavizar el cabello. Y por último, productos que permiten estilizar la hebra. Quiere decir, que permiten que el último producto agregado, ya sean aceites, serum o mantecas o geles, sean aquellos que permiten dar entonces una forma al rizo.
So it's very important for black hairs also the styling part. So after the cleaning and then the hydration with these oils, there are like gels or also some sort of creams where people can basically follow the pattern and like separate the different curls. Yeah. Gracias, sí. Continúa.
Entonces, dentro de los productos que permiten dar finalización o acabado al peinado, están los geles. Principalmente si usamos geles naturales, como el gel de linaza, el gel de chía. ¿Me escuchas, Paula?
¿Me repites? Perdóname, es que me estaban acá hablando de algo técnico.
No, te comentaba que dentro de los productos de estilización o de acabados finales existen los leave-in y los productos como los geles o las cremas de peinar. Estos productos van desde los geles naturales como el gel de chía, el gel de linaza, el gel, por ejemplo, que se hace de quimbombó, que mucha gente desconoce la planta, pero es un gel natural que ayuda mucho al cabello desde suavizarlo hasta estilizarlo. Quiere decir, darle el acabado que al final nosotros queremos.
So, for example, some of the natural solutions and gels is like, I will search this word because I think it's important. Just a second. Flax, maybe in German. Lime, okay. When one leaves this into water, it creates like a kind of saliva thing, or like a kind of sticky structure as a gel. So that's one of the kind of gels that can be used to style the curls. Also from quinoa, and also from, there was this plant. You said the name of the plant. Dijiste el nombre de la planta, perdón. ¿Me lo repites?
Linaza, chía, quimbombó.
Bombom.
Dije variedad.
Bombom was the
Quimbombó.
last plant. They also has this kind of structure or feeling, yeah. Tenemos que acabar más o menos pronto solo porque tenemos un problemita técnico. ¿Te hace falta mucho? Solo.
No, ya.
Okay.
Entonces, como resumiendo, para el cuidado general del cabello natural, tenemos que pasar por un proceso de, primero, reconocer cómo es mi cabello, como explicaba al inicio. Una vez que sepa si mi cabello lleva una textura más rizada o menos rizada, tiene una porosidad alta, baja o media, puedo entonces seleccionar una gama de productos que sean aquellos que permitan, no sé si tengo que parar para que traduzcas ahí.
It's important that one is able to identify how is the texture of the hairs, therefore then to balance these products that she mentioned before, or these types of hydration, cleaning, and then styling products. Yeah. ¿Puedes continuar?
Ya, entonces, una vez conociendo todos estos términos que te expliqué anteriormente, luego pasamos a lo que sería ya la estilización final del cabello, que lastimosamente no trajimos nada para mostrar cómo se pueden lograr estilos de peinados a partir del cuidado con productos totalmente naturales. ¿Tienen algún problema ahí?
I'm so sorry. ¿Me repites de nuevo? Es que estoy acá como en medio de un problema técnico y me estás hablando y se me revuelve toda la cabeza. ¿Puedes repetirme?
Ok. Te decía,
Perdóname.
Paula, que... ¿Me oyes?
Sí, te escucho.
No, te decía que una vez ya conocido todos estos factores, entonces logramos que nuestro cabello, a partir de una rutina perfectamente confeccionada, podamos llevar un cuidado totalmente saludable, un cuidado totalmente, no sé ya qué decir, un cuidado totalmente, ¿cómo decir?, organizado a la hora de poder tener con nuestro cabello una responsabilidad desde la alimentación hacia los productos que podamos escoger para cuidar el mismo.
So the combination of these whole items, I don't know if this is working though, is it? Yeah. Yeah. Okay, sorry, we solved it. So the combination of these that she just mentioned, together with a good way, together with a good way to eat, like healthy habits. That's the name. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah, will contribute to the health of the hairs. Gracias y perdón. Danos un momento.
Pero no se oye.
Sí, ya te escuchamos. ¿Pueden apagar la presentación?
No se oye.
Ay, yeah, sorry. Sorry. Yo ya traducí lo que acaban de decirme. Nos están preguntando que si pueden apagar la presentación y así las vemos a ustedes.
Ok.
Oops. Oops. They will be back, I hope. Okay. I am not sure. The sound, is it working? Can you talk? ¿Pueden hablar?
Sí, sí.
Sí. Ok. Creo que quizá podemos abrirlo a unas preguntas, ¿les parece? En este momento, solo por el horario, estamos como intentando ajustarlo. Perdón que ahorita me desconcentré, solo como que estaban organizando acá entre computadores y mientras hablaban me confundí un poco. Y ya, entonces les voy a traducir a ustedes las preguntas cuando ellos me hagan. So, does someone has a question for you or a comment? You? Sorry.
I can sit here, right?
Yeah, sure.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, the first one is a comment. I would like to appreciate the work that you guys are doing. I have two questions then. The first one is, what explains, because in our presentation, the First Lady explained some of the problems that they face, lack of self-esteem, a lack of history, a lack of knowledge of self, and all this history regarding, African history. I wouldn't use the word black history. But what explains the difference between Jamaica, for example, as an island, because looking at Jamaicans, they're the proudest people you could ever meet. They have the most influential culture in the entire world, the music, the hair, the clothing itself. And these are all South American islands, I would say. So what explains the difference between Jamaica and Cuba and the rest of...
I can also maybe help a bit later to explain, but of course we'll make the question. Primero, él quiere felicitarlas y apreciar el trabajo que hace. No sé si lo ven, creo que lo ven en cámara, ahí en otra de la... Sí. Y segundo, él está intentando preguntar cuál ustedes sienten que es la diferencia. Él da el ejemplo, por ejemplo, de Jamaica, que la historia afro en Jamaica es fuerte, la música, la influencia, y la gente como que tiene ese orgullo que no es como cuestionable de pronto como pasa en Cuba o en otros países de Latinoamérica, yo diría, también puedo agregar. ¿Cuál ustedes creen que es la diferencia? Yo tengo una opinión, por ejemplo, al respecto de por qué, pero ustedes pues, me pueden responder y yo puedo complementar quizá al final.
Puedes empezar tú si quieres.
¿Sí? Okay, I'm gonna do it in English. She's saying that maybe I do first the comment why I think is that there is a difference, and then they will say why. So I personally believe that is because Jamaica is as a colony as many of Latin American countries. Let's say that like the mestizaje would be the word. When this process of colonization, it also happens in Colombia, where I come from, like make people forget their history, you know, indigenous history, black history, all of that. So there is just like a absurd confusion where you actually don't know where one belongs. I think might be also similar in Cuba, even though I'm not from there, so I will give them the word about it. But it's a common phenomena in many Latin American countries for like diasporic or indigenous community, or people who has this mestizaje process in their families, that they couldn't tell the story behind themselves. or their family history is really hard. I don't know the history of Jamaica either, or this example that you give me, but yeah, I don't know. I think the process of mestiçage is different. Like statistically, I would say, just the trace back in history is just lost. Like it's just more lost. That's my opinion, but I will translate what they said. Yo simplemente dije que creo que pasa en muchos países latinoamericanos que por ser colonias como que uno olvida los orígenes y es difícil como de rastrear hacia atrás la historia de la familia de uno o de dónde vinieron, también como hablando de comunidades indígenas, por ejemplo, o comunidades afro, en el ejemplo de Colombia, como que es difícil tener esa memoria clara o esa historia clara. Entonces, no sé cuál sea su opinión.
Yo le iba a decir, dame un beso. Paula, quería primero preguntarle al muchacho, ay, se oye mi voz, si él es de Jamaica.
She just wants to ask you if you are Jamaican.
No, I'm not Jamaican, but I've been highly influenced by Jamaica, like most Africans. We've had a lot of influence from Jamaica. It should be the other way around, but like if you look at locks, for example, that people call dreadlocks.
Yeah, dreads, yeah.
Most people got it because of reggae artists like Bob Marley and all this. So,
Okay.
and the history of Jamaica, like most South American countries of slavery, it's almost the same. And Jamaica had the worst slave history, I should say. It was the hardest place for the survival rate for someone in Jamaica was 6 months. But how come they held onto this history? How come they are still more physically, spiritually connected to Africa than most South American or Latin American countries? So,
Él dijo que él no era de Jamaica, pero que, por ejemplo, países africanos tienen mucha influencia de Jamaica. Incluso él habla como de las dreads, que en realidad no pasa en muchos países africanos en sí, sino vienen de Jamaica, y que él no entiende por qué Jamaica, siendo parte como de ese complejo de islas que hacen parte del sur de América o de América Central, como de Latinoamérica, sigue conservando tan fuerte como esa conexión con África y con las tradiciones que hay allá, con la música, con la espiritualidad, y por qué no pasa lo mismo en otros, o porque ustedes creen que la identidad afro está, digamos, más perdida en Cuba específicamente. Yo di mi ejemplo de lo que yo creo, pues no solo identidad afro, pero identidad indígena también. Sí, porque creen ustedes que es así.
A ver, lo primero que quiero comentarles, escucharme, es que o sea, sobre la historia de Jamaica o de otros países que fueron colonia aquí en América, no podemos hablar tan bien como pudiéramos hablar sobre Cuba, porque es donde vivimos y la historia que conocemos, ¿no? Yo lo que sí puedo decirles es que en Cuba, Cuba sufrió desde la colonia un proceso de mestizaje tan fuerte que creo que es una de las principales causas de que actualmente no vivamos ese reconocimiento negro justo, ay, que van a escucharme, justo como en otros países, como por ejemplo Jamaica. Nosotros en primer lugar, estuvimos colonizados por España. Después de España nos sometimos a una nueva neocolonia por los Estados Unidos. Y durante todos esos procesos hubo una mezcla muy fuerte entre blancos y negros, chinos incluso, indios. La migración aquí en Cuba también de países europeos fue extremadamente fuerte. Ahora cuando él comentaba esto de la diferencia, a mí y ponía el ejemplo de Jamaica específicamente, a mí me venía a la mente que, por ejemplo, en las zonas orientales de nuestro país, y que de eso Yuli les puede hablar incluso mucho mejor que yo, porque ella es proviene del oriente del país, que están esas zonas mucho más cercanas geográficamente a las islas del Caribe, como por ejemplo Jamaica, República Dominicana, Haití. Se siente incluso que hay un proceso cultural y un imaginario social mucho más arraigado con esa descendencia negra, africana, que en el occidente del país. Y creo un poco que tenía que ver eso con lo que dice él, ¿no? Que, por ejemplo, en Jamaica, este orgullo, esta descendencia explícita se vive mucho más que en un país como Cuba. ¿Qué pasa? Que ahora mismo, en el 2022, indiscutiblemente ha habido un despertar de esa identidad afro, sobre todo pensada desde la afroestética en Cuba. Hay muchísimos proyectos ahora mismo, iniciativas defendiendo lo que es el concepto de la afroestética, y creo que ha tenido mucho que ver con esto que yo les comentaba ahorita de la apertura a la internet. Ya tenemos mucho acceso a las redes sociales, podemos crear grupos afines, a temáticas afines que antes podíamos, no sé, reunirnos 10, 4 o 5 personas en una casa, por ejemplo, y ahora nos podemos reunir 30.000 personas en un grupo de Facebook, por ejemplo.
Voy a traducir. So, it's similar. So first she said that they couldn't tell so much about the history of Jamaica because they don't have knowledge about it, but they have knowledge of what happened in Cuba. So she said basically that the process of mestizaje, as I said, it was so strong in Cuba specifically. They had a Spanish colony, but also then they had a U.S. colony. There is also it's also an island, so it's also a transit place for many, like commercial places, and also entrance for many European countries there. So really, the process of mestizaje was really strong. So people like had more difficulties just by that fact to trace back in their history. And also she explained that in the west side of Cuba is where this confusion is more visible, but she gave an example of the east side of the island, of the country, where it's closer to these Caribbean islands, like to Haiti or to Jamaica, or even though just geographically a bit closer to Africa. The pride is different, or the feeling of this, she said, like African spirit or African aesthetics is way more present, and she believes it's just by a geographical fact. They are kind of close together and they keep this spirit kind of alive. She said that even though it's been hard to the west side of Cuba, or where the Havana is, also because the political landscape is very difficult and also hard to untangle. So, yeah, even though it's like that, since like internet rise there is lots of way of people to communicate around the country and to meet and to create like a more strong web of this community that stands for this African identity in Cuba that wasn't so possible or was way more hard before. Also because the transit in between the island is even hard for locals. They cannot go to all parts, or they can go to some parts and others not, and so on. So like this kind of really helped, and there is like many initiatives that support this African aesthetics also in the island. Yeah, that would be the answer, I think.
I mean, I understand. The last question is, in our presentation, she still maintained that mostly they work with girls and women. In the presentation, she emphasized that they mostly work with women and girls. In my experience, I've seen that it shouldn't be, but it is. Some women will straighten their hair or do hairstyles just to impress men or to impress boys. And girls would like to do that just to impress the boys. So the question is, wouldn't it be also very clever to work with boys so that they would appreciate girls, or men should appreciate women with their natural hair, not having to put this pressure on their sisters and their mothers, on their girlfriends to straighten their hair, to do all this kind of shit. I mean, sorry.
Okay, thank you. So the last question, what's your name so I can tell? Moses? Okay. The last question of Moses, who is our visitor here, is, perdón, estoy ya confundida. La última pregunta de Moses, que es el nombre de la persona que está acá con nosotros como visitante, es que en la presentación, al final, ustedes trabajan bastante con niños y con mujeres. Pero él siente que también hay una presión como patriarcal, en cierta medida, como de las niñas alisándose el pelo para ser bellas al ojo del hombre, digamos, de alguna forma. Entonces, él preguntaba que si no sería también como una buena estrategia incluir niños también en esos workshops, de tal forma que ellos también puedan apreciar su cabello natural, pero el de las demás personas, como ya, ese sería como la otra pregunta o como comentario.
Durante la presentación de Ania había explicado que en la segunda edición del concurso incluimos dentro de la propia estrategia del concurso a hombres y niños. Por lo que él mismo explicaba, incluso en la propia sociedad cubana, la mayoría de los hombres llevan estilos que van desde el cabello rizado, totalmente natural, hasta los drelos, que es lo que mayormente casi siempre usan, ¿no?, los hombres. Lo que en la presencia de los niños, principalmente en las escuelas, no se permitía que los niños llevaran el cabello afro natural totalmente largo. Entonces las madres utilizaban la opción o de hacerle trenzas para ir a las escuelas, o bien se lo cortaban. Y en los propios centros de trabajo, en el caso de los hombres, tampoco le permitían, ahora en la actualidad se usa un poco más, le permitía llevar la cabellera larga, totalmente natural, llevarla totalmente suelta a los centros de trabajo. No sé si era por tema de la propia política empresarial, que es decir, de las propias reglas empresariales, o era por un tema de prejuicios sociales, que es lo que casi siempre los temas que tocamos dentro de los propios talleres de lo llamamos rizos, cuando hacíamos cuestión del aspecto físico en correspondencia a cómo llevaban el cabello las personas a los centros laborales, a cómo eran aceptados dentro del sistema empresarial cubano.
So she gave an example of the second edition of this contest, beauty contest, where they also included men and boys in that. So like also because specifically in the case of Cuba, even in the workplace, they are also not allowed to wear like their hairs open. They have to cut it very short, or like kind of make it not really visible. They're like natural afro hairs. So like kind of this socialization with this mixed group of people is what they've done to tackle that part. But like, that's like so far the example that they gave us, that they also work with these rights also from the, like to educate male gaze in a way, but from that side, I would say.
Not just, it's not on?
No, I think you have to
It's
just...
just, it's maybe not just hair. That's, I would like you to say maybe a little bit to the complex why you are working with hair, and to explain to us who are mainly white here the importance of working with hair, and also the importance to show us especially why it is so important.
Ella nos preguntó que por qué es importante para ustedes trabajar con cabello para mostrar la problemática, que es igual más profunda o más compleja que solo el cabello, digamos, que es toda la historia africana en Cuba, o por qué decidieron. Esa sería la pregunta.
Bueno, a ver, lo primero que debemos recordar es que esto empezó como un concurso de cabello afronatural. O sea, no podemos perder de vista eso. Esa fue la decisión que por motivos personales, por las propias vivencias del artista, ella lo decidió. Y me atrevo a asumir determinadas cosas, como por ejemplo, que Susana Pilar es una artista que siempre ha trabajado los temas relacionados con las mujeres desde su cuerpo, desde la representatividad de su propio cuerpo. En segundo lugar, que ella, en cuanto a color de la piel, digamos que no es, ahorita cuando le hablaba de estos colorismos, de esta diversidad de matices de colores que tenemos en Cuba, ella es de piel clara, no es una persona negra, y al no ser una persona negra, indiscutiblemente, pues los rechazos sociales o las intolerancias sociales no fueron quizás, no tuvieron más consecuencias por su color de piel, sino por su cabello, porque ella sí lleva de temprana edad su cabello afronatural. Entonces, eso es pensando en el inicio. Y pensando ahora mismo ya en el desarrollo que ha tenido el proyecto, siempre vamos a hacer un proyecto que en primera instancia aborde el cabello natural, pero somos totalmente conscientes de que la problemática racial en Cuba y el mundo no es una problemática del cabello única y exclusivamente, sino que es algo mucho más amplio, algo muchísimo más profundo, y uno de los retos que tenemos es precisamente que nuestro proyecto no se quede hablando solamente de la estética del cabello como un elemento bello de nuestro cuerpo, sino que el cabello nos sirva como un pretexto para poder profundizar sobre otras problemáticas que son mucho más profundas.
So she said that at first it was regarding Susana del Pilar Matieso, because she actually really works with her hairs, because it's the strongest feature in her body, which is her instrument of work as a video artist and performance artist, with the hairs. Also because, that was the strongest trace from African history she had as a reference, as she's also result of mestiçage. So that then she started working with this group of women and this community. So it began from hairs, and this is like a general problematic, but also they said that one of the upcoming challenge is not to only target the beauty of hairs or how to show your proudness through hairs, but also tackle another ways to reach or speak about this visibility in other ways. That's also why they opened this podcast. They also invited some musicians. They are trying to diversify the topic so that it's not about beauty or yeah, only about that, but about other things. Yeah.
Y para añadir una cosa más, coméntale que nosotras creemos que a la gente joven hay que, digamos que enamorarlos y enamorarlas con temas que le interesen. O sea, no podemos venir a hablar a la juventud que no le interesan, a nuestra juventud no le interesan, por lo general, hablar sobre negritud y hablar sobre problemática racial. Y quizás la afroestética en general, no solamente el cabello, puede ser la ropa, puede ser como ponerse un turbante, es una manera también inteligente y fresca y atractiva para que la juventud se acerque a estos temas. Y es lo que está pasando hoy en Cuba, que comenzamos en un evento hablando sobre cabello y sobre cómo cuidar el cabello, pero indiscutiblemente al final terminamos hablando sobre la historia negra, sobre nuestra procedencia y sobre nuestra identidad.
So they are very, like as an addition to that comment, they are very concerned about the youth or young people in Cuba. And they said that sometimes just to speak directly about racial issues, it's very boring for some youth. That's what she's saying. Or like so problematic, so complicated that they avoid to speak about that. So using these strategies like hairs or fashion or actual topics that people can relate to is a strategy for them to actually create this dialogue with young people in a way. Yeah. Okay, thank you. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Muchas gracias, chicas. Creo que acá tenemos que acabar. Estamos muy felices de tenerlas acá. Yo estoy muy contenta y espero que nos veamos pronto y sigamos colaborando. Muchas gracias. En serio.
Gracias a ustedes.
Okay, so now we are going on a break. Of how many minutes? 10 minutes. All right. puedo escuchar, pero yo creo que tú me escuchas a mí. Okay.
Should I do some introduction reverse? 3, 2,
1.
What do I count backwards? 5, 4.
Hola, ¿me escuchas?
Hallo, wir würden euch gerne nochmal einladen. Wir fangen jetzt mit der zweiten Präsentation an und das beginnt mit einer Performance von Pelitos Locos. Pelitos Locos, I'm sorry. Okay.
Hola, hola, hola.
Okay, it would be of course in English, as you know, because it's more.
Of course.
So I think we have to begin with the performance right now, and I will
Of
show
course.
the videos at the end, and I will share right now your Instagram account. Yes,
Well,
sorry.
while I apply the color, yeah.
I cannot speak.
Hello.
Right?
Hola.
All right. So, Fab, what should
Hi.
I share first?
You can start with the first picture. It's from Jose too.
Okay. I'm sorry, but I need to get the pictures.
Okay. Today I am here with Jose.
Hello.
Hi. Um, Yesterday we started this process. It only has 2 bleaches. I used a bleach of 10 volumes and a bleach of 30 volumes. And yeah, like we're gonna show you that part of the process later on. But I will apply a third part of bleach real fast and while we solve. And I'm gonna apply the color later. These pictures that we're seeing.
Next picture.
Yeah,
Next
just
picture.
Well, that's actually like the very latest picture I got. If you could please go, yeah, that picture is from my sunglasses, some sunglasses I made.
This one?
But yeah, but if you could please go back to the Instagram account,
Okay.
we can start
So
from
I
there.
just want an order. So we go to the Instagram account first. Yes?
Yes,
Okay.
and we can go through the process. I think the Instagram account has been like my most persistent portfolio. So I think it narrates the process really well. So yeah, right now I'm just mixing a bit of peroxide, 30 volumes, and bleach. We're gonna apply a third layer of bleach on Jose.
Now the sound, is it working? Just give me a second because I.
Pelitos con Z.
Okay. Yeah.
Pelitos locos.
Okay, I found it. So I'm gonna come back here.
Okay. So can you hear me?
Yeah. So now you
Okay,
can
good.
begin, I think. So we are in the Instagram account now. Should I go to the bottom of the account?
You can go, like, just open the very last one.
Okay. Okay. I just opened the very last one.
Okay, that one is Jose, the same person I'm with right now. I wanted to, I don't know, be with him for this moment.
Can we get a
And
louder volume? I think it's not so loud.
let me try. I can try to speak up, but I don't think I can.
Yeah, don't
Yeah,
worry.
turn
It's
the
also
microphone.
here in the technical setup.
Okay, cool.
Okay. So we can continue. So this is your first image, or how it began?
Yeah, that was one of the first ones. It began in the university. We went to the same university in Bogota with you, and in Bogota, I made some haircuts on him, just like 3 of them or 4, but like very spontaneously, like one, like one every 3 months. But I didn't know what I was doing. Um, but yeah, like later on in the pandemic, that's when I really started. You can go on the next picture if you want.
Next one. This is the one with the spider.
Right, that's like, yeah, that I also. Yeah, that's one of the ones I liked at the beginning. Yeah, I was very experimental at the beginning. I didn't have a machine or anything. I just wanted to like try things. But yeah, you can go to the next.
Okay, I have some.
If you have any questions, also let me know.
Okay, I just have some kind of introductory question. So maybe you give us some small background. So where you studied, how it began, why, like why it's now a practice that is attractive to you and something that you keep doing.
Of course. Now, may I ask you something? Like, do you think you can turn your camera a bit also so I can see the screen in your back, so I can know like which, like what are you
Ah, I see what you mean.
seeing?
Like this, right?
Uh-huh. Thank you.
Yeah?
Yes, thank you. Okay. So you can go to the next one. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, I think with that I can explain a bit of how I truly started like taking it seriously. Previously it was just me. I don't know, like I will do that, but later on I will just, I don't know, do something normal. But like I took it like really seriously in the pandemic, around, I don't know, March, April. I just was very depressed. I didn't want to go out. Like, I don't know, like I went to art school and I was not finding meaning in anything I was doing. So I just found, I don't know, like doing hair was something more close to people, like more real in some way, I think at the moment. But I didn't expect it to like become like uh, a way of expressing my art, but it ended up doing so somehow. Um, that person that was one of my roommates, one of my friends too. So I was living with him. He allowed me to do a lot of hairs. But yeah, I think that's the exact moment when I began. That was the first color I ever did. I ever applied to someone. So yeah.
I also want to point out something that I believe is very important from this practice and also for us to understand the whole context. So where you move, why is it important there, how it like kind of became a trend, also as well how
Right.
it is related to like Nea culture. Maybe you can also explain us what Nea means a bit and what's these hair practices about.
Well, right now I'm right now in Medellin. I'm from Bogota, like I was saying at some point. But I decided to come right before the pandemic. I don't know, just and right after I graduated from school. It's like, yeah, because I graduated from school, I wanted to like find some new path. I don't know why I did it, but yeah, like I feel I also saw an opportunity with this project because I don't know, like I felt it was really important. I always saw it with like the reggaeton singers, with like the people I follow on Instagram or yeah, like on YouTube, like the paisa or the people from Medellin aesthetic is really strong. So I feel like I wanted to experiment with that, and yeah, like reggaeton had to do a lot with that actually, like the fact that it was such a big industry and that it was moving a lot of money and that I don't know. At the moment, I just didn't want to think about like the art of it. Like, um, I was very hesitant to like always, I don't know how to say it. Yeah, to do like very commercial things. But I wanted to be part of that reggaeton vibe, which is like just to, I don't know, create trends and yeah, like be very loud. So I came here because there are like, as I was saying, like very strong aesthetics with hair. One of them is called siete. In translation, directly will be seven. It was mean they give like this kind of haircut in the sense that to this turn a bit like this. The sides, all the sides are shaved, or all the sides are like uh, yeah, lower than the upper part, you know? This is called the seven, and for the siete, and it's a very strong haircut here in Medellin. Everyone in the country sort of gives like an image of who looks from where, right? And uh, yeah, and granted to this city, I don't know why. Because
Uh,
it's very universal. I always thought, you know, like
Fat?
people around the world has this haircut, but I don't know. Tell me. Yeah.
Yeah, I think like it's nice. Like I don't know if we find a way to direct the microphone because I believe is it just me or yeah that like somehow is the sound is not really working very well, even though from what I understood, so there was just this necessity to move to Medellin because there was all of this reggaeton scene and this party and this action of being loud and so on. So like that is as artists what moved you to start doing that. He also mentioned about COVID moment, and that's the moment when he began to do these hair colors in people. And yeah, so like I want you just also to imagine that we don't know anything about Medellin, you know, because that's how we are in this moment. So that you could tell us a bit more about what's happening there and why is it exciting. Also, like we try to fix the sound, maybe you can get close to the microphone somehow, because it's not really close right now and it's hard to listen to understand what you're saying. Also, like, yeah, I guess. ¿Puedes intentar?
No. Personally,
Fabian?
Just 1 second.
Okay.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah, wait. Hola.
That's, I think, way better. Yes? Can you keep talking, please? So we will.
Hi.
Yeah, I think it's better.
Okay, better. What we were talking about? I'm sorry.
Pongas en contexto que yo llegué a
Right.
Medellín.
So, uh, well, as I was saying, I came to Medellin because of these haircuts too, because I feel I could have explored them a bit.
Okay.
Now, yeah, like in Medellin, it's very strong in regards to like to the aesthetic in people. Medellin is like the second largest city here in Colombia, and it's a city where like a lot of important people come from. Where I don't know, it's a very important city culturally, I feel. So yeah, I don't know. I just felt it was a good ground to come and explore and create stuff because there was going to be a lot of people that was going to see it because there's this huge platform in regards to reggaeton, which I feel I wanted to take advantage of and be a part of. So yeah, I just wanted to come here while it was like happening and yeah, and explore with these haircuts. You know, like one of them is kind of I was showing. This one is called siete in Spanish, or at least here they call it like this, because I feel it's like a very universal haircut. Like you can see it everywhere, but basically it's just like having your sides shaved when you turn around, please, like just like this, you know. So this will make like a 7 or a siete, and this is like I don't know, um, very characteristic of this city or like a culture or what it means to carry this haircut, you know, in the street. And yeah, like and like I wanted to evolve that, you know. I was just like walking around in my living room in Bogota, like what would I do? And I was imagining like these futuristic like neas, which is like I don't know what a nea. How do you translate that? Nea is like the word that you use to describe a kind of person, but I don't know. Do you, Paula, know like a cultural reference that can
Yeah.
explain?
Actually, I was reading an article lately about what NEA means. So NEA is a person from the periphery in Medellin specifically, and it's a person who has bad taste. That would be like kind of translation, but it also now implies many things. Anea comes from an expression that is used locally in Colombia from the word gonorrhea, that is like this illness, but in Colombian Spanish it's used rather for like something that is very good or something that is terribly bad. So you use this word, like something is gonorrhea, when something is super good or super bad. So it's actually kind of like, what?
Sorry, just Jose was talking.
So it's kind of a transformation of this word, and it becomes kind of a style or like a subculture in a way. So he was explaining before that they have also this siete. Siete is like 7, and it's this shape for the head. That's, I think, what he did, or the model Jose Daniel has right now in there. And they have also their own style. They also relate sometimes. Oh, great! He downloaded. they also relate sometimes to the people who is fan of football. Also, there was like a branch of Nea culture. So they had also like Adidas, that could be fake Adidas trousers, and like a whole aesthetics around it. And Pelitos Locos is kind of working with this world, and also like this just contra-cultural movement from Nea, because it's about this kind of tasteless, or like not tasteless, like maybe tasteful, but like bad taste in a sense of, I don't know, mainstream culture, or like just conservatism regarding hairs or regarding looks or beauty standards. I think you can continue.
Also,
Yeah?
also wants to say something.
Yeah, of
The
course.
person who's talking, it's me. Hello.
Sorry?
So,
Can you put the microphone closer? Can you put the microphone closer?
can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, so this is me. Hello. Yeah, what I wanted to say about like this culture, it, I mean, what I've seen living here is that it is usually referred to people who come from a certain like socioeconomic background that belong to a certain socioeconomic class. And I think that it is very interesting for me to see that in even in like the city where I come from, which is also Bogota, there's a certain type of hairstyle that like identifies you like as a part of a certain class. And I think that we live like here in Colombia, we live in a society that it is very like the class and where you come from a perspective of wealth or something. It is very important, and I like it really did. ¿Cómo se dice determinar? Determinar.
I think it's maybe the word also class identity would be. I
Yeah.
will name it that way. Yeah. Like
Yeah,
the
also.
identity of class, like high class and low class, is something that
Yeah.
is really visible also.
Yeah,
Like,
and when you say like tasteless, like it is usually like seen like that, like a lack of good taste or a lack of education, visual education or aesthetic education, whatever it is. But in a way, it is very like people are very proud about what they create outside of this hegemonic like idea of taste, and people are sometimes are like even very proud of not being part of that, or of not being part of the main visual ideals. So that's what I think it is very interesting, that when you see people on the streets like wearing this type of haircuts or doing like crazy stuff in a society that regards that as low class or something like that, and proudly it is like very like shocking and inspiring, at least for me and for Fabian as well. And that's why like we like to experiment with it a lot, and like we have a lot of ideas because we see like things on the street, or we Fabian is always like getting inspired by haircuts that he sees around the city.
so it's also okay. Sorry, I just wanted to say, Fab, just that it's then from like a way to show pride, regardless the socioeconomical situation, or from low income peripheral part of society, some sort of proudness or beauty also coming from there. I believe that's what I understood. Fab, can you put the microphone close to your mouth again?
Hi. So yeah, like I also feel it's very interesting to talk about this through like the more industrial part of the culture, which is like, yeah, let's say J Balvin, if no one knows, is like this big reggaeton star or music star from here. but like the fact that he started to do colorful haircuts, he normalized this kind of haircut for many people and for many classes. And I think it brings to the masses like an acceptation of these kind of trends or this kind of yeah, like expressions. And usually it's always like that. I don't know, like is this kind of neighborhoods or sectors of the cities that are the most creative or I don't know, yeah, like risky. So it happens here and everywhere, you know. And later on, it's always a source of inspiration for everyone. So yeah, I think I was a part of that because I feel I was also a part of a sort of exodus of people coming from Bogota here to Medellin. People are finding here not only like cheaper apartments and cheaper way of living, but also like cultural inspiration and yeah, like a source for creating a lot of projects, you know? So, sorry, I just want to see what you're showing right now.
I'm showing
Like, for
the.
example, this one is one of the most important for me because I feel with this one, I got to, well, first of all, I want to explain. I work with an artist from Bogota with this hair. She's carrying it. Her name is Vagabunda Frita. And I wanted to do something that was very her, and she works a lot with like brands and like
The fake idea of luxury.
Logos.
yeah, like yeah, she works a lot with like the
Logos?
famous, the luxury, that kind of lifestyle brought to like I don't know to her reality, you know, and
Her
our
reality.
reality with the stores that you see in the city, like out in the city, is like this market chain, which is that is the logo. Everyone uses or goes to these stores. So I wanted to yeah take a spin on Louis Vuitton, but or something like that, but something that she will use or go to. And she happens to have like this sequin bag that she made for that store or out of that store bag. So it was perfect. And I think it's like one of the my favorite ones at least because yeah, I think I was able to work with very direct references from the street. I didn't have to like abstract it that much, but it was very direct. I would like to do more of that. But yeah, um, yeah. Please go ahead.
I think it's also about being bold because, like, and this social performance. So I have a question regarding how does people react to you guys in the streets, also from people who get these crazy haircuts.
Well, like the person you were showing there, like one of them, Daniel. I remember him telling me like since I made him that haircut, like he got stopped by the police much more, and his parents were like super upset, and but he really liked it, and many people obviously like it catches attention, you know, like I think that's sort of the idea of it too, to just no, I don't know if what's the word if to uncomfort people or like to just displace them from something, you know, like deep inside it you're carrying like a tool of conversation, you know, people wants to ask or compliment or just yeah say something, you know.
Okay, now we are in the picture of this hat. that is of cables and like plugs. Can you talk a
Well,
bit about that hat? It's actually here in Germany,
yeah,
but
like
it's not
I
here in the
sent it
room.
a month ago, a few months ago. But yeah, like for this photo shoot, I was very excited to work with these two guys. Like they're some friend of mine, and they are very creative, and they work very much regards like they recycle and upcycle a lot. So I wanted to do the same. That was like my initial idea. And yeah, I just got to this. I had the materials and I just, yeah, from this on, I started to have like more and more, like, I started to deconstruct my idea of hair and accessories for your hair or for your body or whatever involves hair. So I think this was the first step to later on get to the glasses, for example. So yeah, um,
I'm gonna show those pictures now, I think. Also, I had another comment, let's say, and it's about queering or this action of being queer within these hairstyles. I think that's very important also when looking at the pictures, because the depicted persons who receive the haircuts, they are, from my point of view, not representing gender, or like they are probably in a non-binary setup. So maybe it's about the community and it's about the friends that you got to get close. So how it worked? Is it because the people wanted to get haircuts with you, or you were hanging out, or there were like stuff that you like connect you somehow, just like as a question, maybe
well,
as well? Yeah. Like the queering exercise, like the non-binary exercise behind these kind of hairstyles and haircuts.
well, I do like the word queer and I do identify as queer, and I feel it is sort of like that. Like my surroundings are queer because I have somehow decided to. And in my surroundings, these people are also very supportive and creative. And while I was developing this project, I found a lot of support in my friends. And yeah, I will like these two friends, for example. Like I didn't charge anything; it was a collaboration between us. So they made the whole outfits, the whole styling. A friend of ours also took the pictures, and I thought of the hairs in regards of all of that, you know. So it was like a team effort. Um, so yeah, and many projects have been like that, like or many hairstyles. Like if they are my friends, for example, Jose, like I don't charge him, like he's allowing me to try things and experiment. And I've never done what I'm doing today, for example, you know. I didn't want to use that many colors to create the textures and the different kind of tones. It's only bleach. So he's always allowing me to try new things, and many of my friends are the same. And in regards of the queer part, it's just like honestly, I don't think much of it. It's just my friends happen to be like this, you know. They happen to be, I don't know. I find them inspiring, and they dress themselves so incredible, and they carry themselves with such grace, and they look amazing. I don't know, and you know, I want to be a part of that. I feel with my hair or what I do on their hair, um, I try to like be a part of how they feel, a part of like Yeah, I want them. I mean, yeah, I do at the end want them to feel good, like to carry themselves even like with cooler grace. I don't know.
I would like to add something
There
to
is,
that.
sorry, Jose?
Yes, can I add something?
Yeah, but like I think you have to turn on the microphone. Yeah, exactly. Like of the phone, you have to like enable
Yeah,
the sound.
sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, digamos como aquí hablando con Fabián. Here like talking. I would say that it I've seen this project growing up since the very beginning as a friendship thing, but also I've seen it like expanded because of like social media. And you mentioned like community, and I think that there's like a digital community, and every time that I don't know he's somewhere, I don't know, in a city, people come to him because they know from Instagram or from Twitter or from other places, because there's like a digital community that is built, I think, that around the same time of visual interest and also like this type of styling interest. And a lot of people that we know, friends of friends that are interested in this type of visual idea of expression, are like being, it's like a community that is being built because of this like also virtual relationships. So I think that it's also Pelitos Locos is also like a part of a, I don't know, very specific type of visual pleasure community, I would say.
Thank you. I also gonna play one of your videos. Also because then I can ask you about the guaracha and the glasses. So I'm gonna just play it where I put it here.
Of course. Okay, wait. This is like just I send you as some pack of files just in regards to the sunglasses.
Yeah.
But there's this one that it's called Pelitos X Boquisucias, I believe.
Yeah.
That's the name of the file.
Okay.
That's like a more yeah, like a video in regards to the guaracha.
Okay. Hold a second.
Comencemos.
Ya, pero ya
Llegó mi amor, eso sí se está agotando. Esa casa mía, tumben ese cuerpo.
Okay, thank you. Was really great. I haven't seen that video in very long. Fab, I wanted to ask
Yes.
you about because there is also this sound in the video. So who made it? How was it? And also regarding as I said, the glasses and the guaracha. Like I think for me, it was clear when I received these glasses, also here, that they were made to dance or like to party.
Yes, they were. Like, I feel the answer for everything is related. Like, the music, our friends, is by friends. While I was dancing guaracha, I met them. They just played music in Bogota. They're DJs, and I used to go to their parties. And yeah, they're, as I said, they're very supportive. And when I had this idea, well, it was for this collective that was created during the pandemic, and it's called Chimbites. They created like these virtual events where they will do a live stream, and people will just create their works, their works of video. And I decided to just create this promotional video for the sunglasses. That was the excuse. But and yeah, I just started to in the creative process. I just started to like thinking like, okay, I moved. So in Bogota, the guaracha is really big. These DJs play it a lot that I was talking about. But the guaracha has this haircut that I was saying, El Siete. Guaracha is also from Medellin, or that's what they say, and it's claimed culturally from here. So I was thinking like I'm here in like the land of Guaracha, so I gotta like I don't know pay an homage to it somehow. Like at least say like I was here because of something. Like my time here was worth because I created this. I don't know. I was thinking this at the moment, and yeah, like I feel through this project like I connected with many people, like the people that I decided them to carry or to model. They were my friends Viasus and Daniel, and I never seen people dance guaracha like them. I love their energy, and I just couldn't think of anyone else dancing guaracha but them. So I decided to go back to Bogota and film it for them, like because they were there, and yeah, like it was an homage to just going to party. Like at the moment we were through pandemic and we hadn't gone in a while, and we understood after not going to party that it was a place where we will meet and do great stuff, just not have fun. And I think, yeah, it was a way of paying homage to that. Um,
Y también que la guaracha.
Tell me.
Also that guaracha has like a very similar root to the type of hairstyle that it is very associated. See?
You put, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, sorry. Hello. Yeah, I will say that guaracha also has like the same roots, like is linked like culturally to this type of haircuts and to very specific type of young people. And I will say personally that a couple of years ago it was like seen as something bad and also as something tasteless, but it is growing, and the popularity of this kind of music and this kind of aesthetic around this kind of parties is growing as well between young people here in like in our communities. So I will say that is like a complete package of like cultural expressions through music and through partying and through organizing underground events and through um, yeah, like creating these visual looks that are coming from this part of society that used to be like the tasteless part, and now it's becoming like the part that is like inspiring other parts of like the society itself, I would say.
Okay, also I will give a bit of context about guaracha. So guaracha is basically just a rhythm that is a party rhythm coming maybe from trance and techno music. It's really exploded, I would say. And like there is this online phenomena as well from people from this city called Medellin, where they shake their hairs back. It's also about like performance of femininity in a way. So like, yeah, like women would have extremely long hairs in Medellin also just by, I would say also has to do with narco culture and aesthetic of like specific way to represent femininity, which I don't judge. I just believe it's extremely interesting. And these guarachis made basically, or like was said to be performed as like a dance to shake your hairs. So that's also why for me these glasses were clear, that they were made to shake the hairs that were hanging from them. Yeah, so
Yeah, like if you want to, we can show them too. They're here.
sorry, what?
We
Ah,
also
wow.
we have one. But yeah, like these two strings of hair, they were indeed like, I don't know. They are taken from like that dance step that these women do. It's like this very smooth way of like moving their long hair, like from one side to the other, and just very smoothly, very elegant. Like it's just to look expensive, to look like your hair it cannot be touched. You know, like it's like they invest in it, like it is their, it's like one of their, I don't know how to say, but like one of the things that they bring the most attention to. So so yeah, like I wanted to do something like that. I feel like something very raver, something that my friends will want to party with, or yeah, get inspired to get dressed up for a party. That was a lot of the inspiration in it too. So yeah, you can, if you want to, like, uh, there are some videos in that pack of pictures. Now that we're talking in regards to the sunglasses, maybe we can just go through them real fast.
Yeah, I
Like
will.
those
I
pictures.
will play them now, I guess.
So this is like the video I sent to Chimbites to apply for it. It was like an open call. So this is the video I sent, like asking them if I could make the video that you guys just saw with the machete. No, the previous one.
The
The
previous one?
previous one.
The one we saw.
The one with them dancing. There, it's around there. It's that drawing that you see there.
Yeah. They are, yeah, I'm showing them now. Do you see them in the camera? It's just
Yep, the
here.
one that has that one. So that one shows like this group of people that is very important here or everywhere, and they're called El Mariposario, or I don't know what would be the word in English, but it's like, well,
The
what?
butterfly's house, something like this.
Yeah, but it's like this. A mariposario is like these places that you have like in the botanic garden for you to keep the butterflies, you know?
Yeah.
Like this exhibition of butterflies. I don't know. I always imagine like this king, like yeah, like this big family, and they have been created videos or yeah, just viral videos for like 10 years now. And I feel they have been at least on my community, in the queer community, like a big influencer of this culture, you know, of like guaracha culture, narco culture, paisa culture, Medellin culture, the way they speak, the way they dress. Uh, all of them are a group of trans girls. Um, and yeah, they just upload a lot of their videos and their lives. And um, I'm just one of many people that are inspired by them, you know? That was the video I sent to apply for the sunglasses. Later on, like I don't know, many months later, I was able to, I don't know, give one of those glasses to one of those girls. Her name is Kim. Um, and yeah, I think that was like a fulfilling cycle. I like to see the person that inspired the glasses, see them wearing them was one of the important processes for me at least.
I think
Yeah,
I showed the one of El Mariposario where they are all
yeah.
dancing.
There's another one where that's like a video she uploaded. Maybe you can, I don't know if it's in the file
Ah, from
folder.
Kim Zuluaga?
Yeah.
Yes?
Hmm.
Fab, I don't hear you.
Yes. Yes.
In the
That one.
Instagram?
Well, I downloaded and it should be there, but if not, we can see it on Instagram. Yes. So we're waiting right now. Like, I'm just like waiting for these to process. I'll give it like around 5 to 10 more minutes, and it'll provide like the whiter tones of the rock. This is like a rock inspired haircut. I think I have many passions and or inspirations, and one of them is rocks. Um, the fact that they're all handmade and how you manage fibers, which is very similar to hair,
Uh-huh.
um, to create like a pattern or an image. They are very inspiring to me lately. So I wanted to bring this design to this opportunity, you know, to experiment and show it. So yeah, I'll later on apply real fast a color, and that'll be it.
Okay, thank you so much. I think I couldn't find it, but
It's
I
alright.
will just forward it to them if I find it soon.
Hmm.
uh, we are super thankful to have you here, and Jose Daniel too, and we are looking forward to see how this haircut finish. And yeah, thank you, Fabian, and thank you,
No, you're welcome.
Jose, for showing
Thank you.
us Pelitos Locos. It's just an insight because it's very complex also, I think, to explain what it is all about. We are going now in a break. Yes? Okay, and then we continue with more. So thank you, Fab, and I hope we keep collaborating, and I hope you're great, and thanks, Jose. Some Something else you
Thank
want
you.
to add? Some questions here, maybe? No? Not so far? Okay.
Tomate.
Bye.
see.
Shasti, would you tell us when to begin? Or? We can start now. Okay.
Okay.
So we have Murmur, who is a project of Valeria, Ojoni, and Pedro Ramirez. It's a project that entangles hair care, haircuts, and publications or sort of poetics around hairs. It began in Bogota, but now it migrated here, both for Valeria and Pedro. And I will be doing some questions to Valeria while she's gonna take care of my hairs and cut a bit the tips of my hairs. So the first question, it's around this trust relationship with the hairdresser, because I also personally find it very difficult to find a person who I can trust for my hairs. Also because I am obsessed with keep them long, and also I don't want anyone that I would say, okay, just cut 1 centimeter, and then this person will cut like 5 centimeters or something, and then I will cry. So my first relationship is like, what do you think about this trust relationship with your hairstylist, Valeria?
Okay, so I would say that more started because of these trust issues with my hairdressers when I was young, because I always had that bad experiences going to a hairstylist and going out really sad. Also because my hair is very thick and very voluminous, and I would call as well the talk from our friends from Cuba, where we always had this stereotypes of hair, like a very perfect hair, and struggling with this, I always end up with really bad hair and always thinking that I had very awful and horrible hair, never really secure of how I looked. And I decided also to cut my own hair and started to experiment with it, and that kind of gave me this insight that I was interested in the hair and in the shapes of hair and in the types of hair and how to take care of it. So I think that for me, in a way, to approach the person that I'm cutting the hair is to always know that this person is giving me their trust, and that I, in my kind of concept of the experience of going to Murmur is to have this good experience, or this trust experience, where you know that you can close your eyes and kind of give me this image that you want to look, and I would do my best to reach that point, I think.
So also you described that it's a care relationship that also is special in a way. It's not like a transaction only, like when we go to hairstylists or hairdressers. So the next question will be, do you think this has some reciprocity in your personal self-care? Like when you give a haircut, how does it affect you? Or how this care you give related in any way with your personal care? Or the way maybe you care about yourself, how does it relate to how you take care of others when you take care of their hairs? Is it clear?
Yeah. Okay, I would say that in the way I see like a care relationship, I always see that it's like a kind of like a reciprocity of energy, or like a give and take, or like give and receive more than take. And I mean, I think that there are like two things that I always have in my mind when I give the haircut or the hair care, and is that I always try to give this care that I would like to receive. So I always try to like think about this moment of giving care or like and making the person feel how do you say, like taken care of, or like like comfortable. And I also always think that in a way it makes me happy to give the person like this moment of like to let go and just trust, and kind of let the other person take the lead on the other people's needs. And the second thing that I always have in mind is this like this kind of how do you say, like paradox of the care of the give no, like give and receive. No, the caretaker, because it is kind of like always going to be like you are always giving. So in a way, I think that for caretakers, they like we have to always kind of like protect this energy, and kind of like trust as well that the other person is receiving in an understanding and loving way. And also sometimes I always think that sorry like this is like kind of going, like the happiness of the other person is kind of like my reward, or I would say.
Can you tell more about the Murmur project, like the complete picture and how you picture it in the future, and what are the parts of the project?
Okay, so Murmur project, I think it started very simple, just like a haircut project, and in the way of constructing it and giving it like an image and like not like a background, and kind of like making it as something visible in the social media, and for new clients to come along. We started also this collaboration with Pedro Ramirez, that you mentioned him. He's the designer for Murmur, and he started making all these drawings and images for Murmur that we finally decided to make some publications that they were coming every 3 months at the beginning. Then with the corona, it started to be not so often, but the idea was to do it every 3 months, and so the people can kind of like grow their hair or change their style, while they also collect these images or this imaginary of the Murmur world. So this is like kind of started to kind of grow as a bigger project, and also for me as an artist, because that's my background, I also wanted to have a space of more as sort of like a platform that could also connect with more contexts, or not just being a hair salon, but also like to connect with the art scene or the performance. And that's how like it started to kind of grow in this area.
Also, so there is this graphic part, and like, what are the narratives, or how does it relate with your haircut? How is the dialogue, maybe?
With the
images created,
with the images,
yeah,
okay.
created in the fanzines, in these publications.
Okay, so I think that in a way it's very free. It's like it's kind of very aesthetics of hair care or hair image, or like just the self-image, and how we construct our our imagery of ourselves. And I kind of like gave Pedro like this freedom of just creating some like free drawings and images about this aesthetics of hair, and it's kind of like a company for you to kind of like let yourself change with the time as well, because I also think that that's what hairstyles do, you know, like they go with you along with your desires to change and to have a new image, and yeah.
So there is like, we cannot see it here, but maybe I can share the Instagram, can I?
Yes.
Yes. Oh, sorry. So like, from what I know and I've seen already, there is always this presence of
Sorry, I'm
plants.
going to interrupt just for you to not get uncomfortable with this.
So there is this like can you still hear me? Yeah. Okay. So my question is that there is usually this presence of plants in the set where you make the haircuts, and in some of the drawings of the fanzine. So my question is like, what's this relationship between Murmura and the plants?
Okay, so I think that I always like to kind of connect different types of like activities, or like kind of like images with concepts or something like this. And for me is a very important activity to take care of my plants. And with the time I started to also like feel that it was kind of related to taking care of your hair, you know, as you have to hydrate it, you have to cut it from time to time, you have to take care of the roots and the earth, and in this case I would say the earth can be like your body and your skin, and in a way I always liked how you could kind of like yeah, like start a relationship with your hair the same way you start a relationship with your plants, you know, like kind of like being aware of what it needs and why it's sad and why it's falling and why it needs to be cutted or trimmed the tips. And I always also think that it's very beautiful when the plants start to change and giving like some new shapes, and you are like kind of letting yourself like be surprised by this. And I think with the hair is the same. And in a way, I also wanted to put this image always in the more like imaginary or world.
So in this like more abstract approach to hair that you just mentioned, or like this parallel, like you also speak about the kind of relation of care and how that has like a kind of abstract value in a way, and you don't know to which extent you get something or you give something. So this is like kind of a work in a more, let's say, metaphysical way. So how could you put yourself between the idea of a haircut and the haircut itself? Or like, how would you describe this distance?
Okay, so I always think, and I was kind of talking about it at the beginning of our conversation, about this trust of giving or like taking this image that you are like longing or like wishing to have on your head, like on your hair, like kind of like saying to this person like, I want it really short, or I want it like this, or you just show an image that you saw on somewhere and you say like, I would like this type of haircut. And in a way it's kind of like being a medium of like traducing all this, you know, like when you go to a hairdresser, sometimes you use like this like words like, I want it like more thin, or I want it like less big, or something like this. And sometimes it's you kind of have to traduce what the person wants to what you can do for the hair. And sometimes you also have to kind of like talk to the person on what type of hair they have, because sometimes they wish to have like these haircuts that it's impossible for your natural hair to be, you know. So it's like kind of like being a medium between what can happen and what the person wants, and kind of like reaching to that middle point where the desire can be accomplished with what the hair can do, I think.
I would also say that there is a matter of like branding, in the sense of like you are cutting hairs so that they can be worn just as the hair behaves, like without much complicated styling. Can you talk more about that?
Oh yeah, thanks for saying that point, because it's, yeah, for me it's really important. I think, like, as I was telling you, like from the beginning, when everything started, I was kind of like wishing that I didn't have to, you know, like get a keratin, or like to know, like get it straight up and like kind of like treat it with chemicals so I can have like this hair that I wanted to have. And I knew, like, in a way, it was always a technique, or like understanding the hair structure, to like kind of being able to cut it in a way that it can kind of like do what you need it to do. I mean, it's not like you can straight curly hair, but you can like kind of like know how to cut a curly hair and make it more curly or less curly, you know, in kind of like understanding the structure of a hair. So yeah, I think it's very, for me, at least it's very important that people is not slaved to products and interventions with heat and chemicals, so you can have like this shape that you're looking for, but you can kind of reach it with just a haircut and some oils and some natural products.
Okay, so I thank you so much for visiting us here in the museum.
Yes.
And for being part of Apotheke Lab in some extent. And I think that's today summary of the day. And we are gonna just finish cutting my hair. And thank you, Valeria, for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. Thanks.
Okay, great.
Yeah, so you don't have a middle, like a half haircut.